Good morning. My name's Alex and my partner's name is Tim. We chose to do a case study on Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve. Our first slide covers the history of Hanauma Bay. Within a volcanic cone lies Hanauma Bay, a protected area that humans used mainly for recreation and fishing. The bay is also home to beautiful reefs. Hawaiians have inhabited the island for the last 800 years, with Americans claiming the island in 1898. It has always been a very beautiful place with rich cultural significance. It became popular among tourists in the early 1900s, and after a few years, the environment started to decline due to overuse. In 1967, it was declared a protected marine life conservation area. In 1990, they started preserving the area and reducing the impact of visitors. Hanauma Bay has long been intertwined with Hawaiian traditions, serving as a favored fishing and recreational spot for Hawaiian royalty. This included King Kamehameha and Queen Kaahumanu. The bay's name combines Hana, meaning bay, and Uma, which can refer to a curve or the traditional Hawaiian sport of hand wrestling, reflecting its cultural significance.
Our next slide covers stakeholders and pushback. When they were working to turn Hanauma Bay into a nature preserve, the natives, conservation organizations, local authorities, and all of the tourist industry were in agreement about it. Hanauma Bay was singled out because of its beautiful reef. It is the most accessible and ecologically rich coral reef. However, due to the tourism and overuse of the area, it suffered. The process was contested by commercial tour operators and visitors. At first, restrictions were ignored. Those restrictions were closing days, fish feeding, and limiting entry. Once results began to show, the people started to listen. Reef and fish populations came back. There were no evictions that took place when they turned Hanauma Bay into a nature preserve. The only restrictions were on fishing, which had a cultural and substantive impact on the natives.
Our next slide covers the IUCN category. Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve, located on Oahu, Hawaii, is typically categorized as IUCN Category 4, Habitat Species Management Area.
Next, we will be talking about the direct threats to Hanauma Bay. Those threats mostly consist of visitors trampling coral reefs, sunscreen pollution from tourists, and fish feeding. The primary focal threat to Hanauma Bay is overuse and high visitor numbers. The Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve has been managing the overuse of the bay for a while through its long-term management plan. This management plan focuses on limiting access, curbing commercial activity, and visitor education. The three management principles that they used when creating their management plan were effective environmental planning processes to combat threats to the PAs, which is principle number 8, effective community education to reduce threats, which is principle number 9, and regulations coupled with adequate policing to address threats.
By identifying 3 management principles used by Hanauma Bay, we can shift our focus into how Hanauma Bay chose to manage threats in their protected area. Hanauma Bay's most prominent risk and incident management systems would be their strives towards mandatory education, banning harmful practices, and addressing harmful sunscreen. Mandatory education was an idea proposed through the Marine Conservation Company called Sea Grant, where all visitors are required to watch an educational video. The video covers conservation efforts and responsible snorkeling. Promoting responsible practice has been a great way to spread the protected area's cause. There is no room for harmful practice anywhere, but especially in a protected area such as this one. This management plan has banned fish feeding, as well as laws that require visitors to respect marine life. This would include not mistreating them by touching or walking on the coral reef. Many people don't even realize that the coral reef is alive, and when they walk on it, they destroy marine life and its ecosystem. Addressing harmful sunscreen was a simple but huge step in the right way. Most people want to take care of the land and the area around them, but due to ignorance and lack of information, most visitors would use harmful sunscreen which affected the coral reef and its fish. Now visitors are encouraged to use reef-safe sunscreen. This sunscreen is mineral-based with non-nano zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and to rinse off lotions before entering the bay to limit chemical pollution.
Another way that Hanauma Bay is managing their threats is through the implementation of sustainable use limits. Over time, they have reduced visitor numbers. In the 70s and the 80s, there were around 10,000 visitors a day. Now the cap on visitors is limited to 1,400 people a day, which is about half the pre-pandemic average. They also control the access to the bay, so it is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays to allow for the ecosystem to recover. And finally, they implemented a reservation system online that helps them control visitors and count how many people enter the protected area.
When addressing the advancements made at Hanauma Bay, we have to give credit where credit's due. Sea Grant, a marine conservation company, made most of this work possible. Through consistent effort, they have helped turn Hanauma Bay into a healthy home for Hawaii's sea life. Hawaii Sea Grant runs the Hanauma Bay Education Program. This program raises awareness and educates visitors on marine conservation as well as Hanauma Bay's unique ocean environment. Sea Grant's mission was to help the public foster appreciation and stewardship of the marine environment and promote conservation. They provide services like field trips, virtual tours, and in-person visits for schools. They're involved in the community through public presentations, science seminars, and educational films for residents. And they rely on the visitors and their dedication to spread awareness and education. Sea Grant's programs gives the children an amazing opportunity to travel to a beautiful and unique protected area while learning about the importance of marine life conservation. Some interesting facts about Sea Grant and how they've helped Hanauma Bay. The education program has been in place for the last 35 years. 18 of those last 35 years were led by the current director of Sea Grant, Dr. Darren Lerner. The education program raised awareness of the need to reduce the number of visitors to protect the bay. There were approximately 800,000 visitors at Hanauma Bay, all of which go through Sea Grant's mandatory education program. It is home to some of the most colorful, unique marine life in the world, and because of its declaration as Hawaii's first marine life conservation district in 1967, it is one of the premier snorkeling locations in the main Hawaiian Islands. During peak periods, the nature preserve saw as many as 10,000 visitors a day. And lastly, in 1990, an 8-point management plan was initiated, which decreased the number of visitors to approximately 3,000 to 3,500 people a day. Yet, problems persisted due to lack of understanding of how to protect this valuable resource.